name is Linda DeRusha. I work for Eaglegate College. I met Alissa several years ago through the Murray Chamber of Commerce. Alissa works for Murray Police Department in crime victims advocate position. And within that position, she saw a real need that wasn't being accomplished in an emergency situation. So when she started the Salt Lake Valley Emergency Fund, it was to take care of immediate needs on an emergency basis. Alissa, I would say, is a quiet wonder. She does wonderful things in a quiet way. She went after big companies and corporations and was very successful in getting contributions, which greatly helped. You know, when I heard of nominations for Wasatch Woman of the Year, my first thought was to Alissa. What a better person who's helped everyone, basically on her own, aside from her real job. She has, taken this on herself. So she's a perfect fit for this.
My name is Alissa Black, and I work as a crime victim advocate at the Murray City Police Department. And on the side, I am the president and founder of the Salt Lake Valley Emergency Fund. I had seen such a huge amount of emergency needs through my job as a crime victim advocate, where crime victims had these emergency expenses, and the expenses created this huge snowball effect for them, where it left them more unsafe. They were getting, evicted from their apartments. They were homeless. They were incurring bills one after the other, and just everything was landing on top of them. And so it was all those cases combined, and then a few others that just really hit home for me. And the lady that I had met, this crime victim, she had been at her home. She had invited a friend over. They had had dinner. They were celebrating because she had just graduated trucking school that day and had been excited to go see the country, drive and explore, something that she had been wanting for a long time. A lot of it was graduating from trucking school was a huge confidence builder for her. And after dinner was over, her friend left, and then she got a knock on the door, and she thought it was her friend returning back to her apartment, and it turns out that it wasn't. It was a stranger, a 20-year-old tweaker or meth addict, and he barged through her door, assaulted her, raped her for over 4 hours, threatened to kill her family, threatened to kill her if she ever told police, and her survival instincts kicked in, and she built a rapport with him and told him that she was a grandma and that she knew people who could hook him up with things. She pretty much just lied to him in order to save her life, but he ended up forcing her to go to the ATM in her car and withdrawing all her money. So he did that in one fell swoop, took all her money, and then he wanted to go to a convenience store and buy cigarettes, but he left her in the car because she was black and blue and bloody. And the good thing about that was it was her opportunity to flee, and she knew it. And she took off in the car, and she said that he wheeled his head around and glared at her, gave her this look of death, and it scared her, but she decided to still report it to police. That's where she went back to another convenience store, and they called 911, and then that's when police stepped in, and pretty soon after I was involved in trying to help her. The problem was he knew where she lived, he had all her money, she didn't have any friends or family, she couldn't stay at a domestic violence shelter because the shelters serve domestic violence victims, not rape victims, so they told me that they couldn't house her. So I was in my capacity trying to help her as a victim advocate, but I had no resources to help her, and I was extremely frustrated. So what I did was I called her clergy member, and I asked if he would help her, and lucky for me, he was a former FBI agent, and he helped her for 2 months until the State Crime Victims Reparation Fund kicked in. That's when I realized that there's some huge emergency needs for people like her that exist where the criminal justice system was ill-equipped to be able to help with those things.